Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another weekly session. This week is a recording only, taking care of some family matters. I want to actually reach out to all of you and thank you for your best wishes during this time, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be back full swing by this Wednesday. We'll have the live webinars again, and again, obviously, next Sunday. So thank you all. You'll start to hear from me again, through Twitter coming up during this week. A lot of action gone the past few days, and let's just get right down into business. You'll notice, unfortunately, that I was forced to upgrade into 9.5, which for me is not what I absolutely wanted to do, but it was either that or stop updating my computer for Windows, which is not something I want to do either. And so I'll be sort of testing out 9.5 over the next week or so. I haven't played with it in the last 2 or 3 years because when it first came out, it was just a disaster, and I refused to even look at it. But really, at this point, I don't really have much of a choice. So I'm actually running both of them simultaneously on 2 different computers, and we'll see. As long as it goes okay over the next week or so, I might just have to full-time switch into it. So, if you're noticing the charts look slightly different a little bit this time, that's the story. I'm sure you all went through the same, security update situation with TradeStation, and that's where it is. So if you have any questions about that, you could send me an email. I'll sort of tell you what I did. But okay, anyway, let's begin. Right now, we can see that we're looking at a green week, and this is now, I don't know how many months in a row, almost another month. Pretty sure it's going to be a green month at this point. I mean, unless we get some kind of ridiculous sell-up. So, I mean, we're just, nothing to talk about. Keep buying the pullbacks. It's been working for a bunch of years right now, and it's still the same. So the next level we'd like to join daily levels over here. There's some 240 levels and some 60 levels. There's just like a 60 level that's around 2770. That's it. There's just nothing else to do but wait till the pullback comes and buy the long. Until we start getting some serious selling, there's nothing to do. Or, is it coming? Yeah. Is it coming this week? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Where the hell is it going around? I know that's that higher level I was just pointing out over there. And that's really all there is to talk about as far as, for ES and Q, very similar. Buy the pullback into the demand zone. We're making all new highs again. We're just breaking away from these levels over here. There's a daily level over here. 40 stuff going on, but same idea. It's just, pull back into demand is a long. That's all there is to talk about, so nothing really going on over here that I'm interested in. So, there's a level under here that got hit on Friday. I took that long. And, there's some other ones underneath us, but that's what you're looking for, waiting for, the pullback in demand. When is it going to end? For me, counter trend entries, are, we're looking at the first higher low on a 60 chart or a downtrend on the 15, which we don't have either of right now. Until you get one of those, I wouldn't be thinking about getting short at all. I mean, there's just no reason to think that this is turning over. And so keep getting long until you start to see the weakness. The weakness will represent itself when we've hit demand on the 60 and then we've turned it into a lower high someplace, or the trend on the 15 starts turning down. Right? Until you get that, no reason to take a short at all. Okay. Well, there we go for that. And let's just not even bother with the Russell. Let's do the same thing. Finally, it caught up with the higher time with the other ones breaking out of it over here, and nice big pop. And that's what we're looking at. We do something on the higher time frame. We did, right? So there's just one thing I'll point out. I mean, both ES, I think, and Q. Yeah, so we're closing on a weekly chart outside the Bollinger Bands. It's a very rare event. It doesn't happen very often, to close, so far outside. I mean, close on the band, or you hit the band this kind of stuff over here. But to close that far outside the bands is very rare. It usually starts to signify the beginning of the top. Let's go back and do a little historical check here. Where's the last time we closed that far outside the bands? Well, this one was pretty big here. Yeah, I thought so. It's been some time, right? Taking a look at the weekly chart. Where's the last one that was really significant? Okay, so let's see. Here's our Bollinger Bands. We've been hugging the upper band over here for a couple of weeks, it looks like, right? But the last time we closed like that far out of the bands, let's say there's one here, right? That one did okay, kept going after that. But the one before that is way back. Looks like over here. And then we get this, right? And you can see it's quite rare. I mean, it just doesn't happen very often that we're that far up there outside. I don't know. Beginning of something that maybe is, something to keep in mind, that we have an opportunity maybe here if we start to see the lower time frames turn around, we get that lower high to 60 or that, downtrend on the 15. You might want to think about taking a short and, start it as a small type of, day trade type of thing and see how it plays out. I mean, here, you could see this, right? And we end up 4 or 5 weeks, and we end up down here. You know what I mean? It's a rare event. It doesn't happen too often. So let's see if that begins something or not. All right. But other than that, still on. Until we get those lower highs on the lower time frame, it's just buy the demand and buy the demand. There's nothing else to do. All right. That's enough for the indexes. Let's move on to crude and a couple of comments. First of all, okay, I've been calling for crude to roll over for a little bit, right? Maybe a week or two now, and I still going to say that. But saying that doesn't mean that you take the short away, okay? When you're, the trend is up, no question about it. The weekly trend is up, the daily trend is up. The lower time frames are still up. You're going to get short, because you believe that you've reached a higher time frame supply zone, right? Weekly level, 240 level, whatever, daily level, monthly level, you're in this higher time frame stuff. It still takes time for that trade to trickle down into the lower time frames. Okay, so you want to be short, wanting to be short, having a bias, and actually pulling the trigger are two different things. Okay, the trigger has to be something that makes sense. And for me, when I'm taking this type of a trade, what I'm looking for is the beginning of the weakness. Because when I'm talking about a higher time frame zone, I'm talking about a bigger trade. And a bigger trade, right, will obviously have more room when it starts working, right, to make trades. I don't have to catch it the second it turns over, right? I want to see the weakness first, which means I want to see something like this. You see this? I want to see a sell, see demand, I want to see a rally, and then I want to see a lower high. I want to see this thing start turning over here. That's when it's time to take the short, even though it's still in an uptrend. Okay? Not before that. So for me, the trigger, again, is going to be the lower high on the 60, or if I start to see a downtrend on the 15, that's when I'm going to start to take this trade. So I was actually not short crude this week. I was actually long Thursday and Friday. But now, and I've been calling that, it should be rolling over, and it should die. It should, and I'm still saying the same thing. It should die. It's going to die this week, I think. But doesn't mean that I'm going to force my opinion on the market. Having an opinion and using your eyes to see what is actually happening are two different things. Okay, so I have a bias. My bias is I want to be short. I wanted to be short for the last 2 weeks. I still want to be short, but the chart is just not letting me be short yet. All right, that's really, really important because that will keep you, alive. When you're fighting the trend, you're going to blow your account up. Okay, let's see. When you're ready to get short, this is what it should look like. You should see a big ass pop. You should see a sell-off on a higher time frame into a demand zone. You should see a rally. And then you should see a lower high. This has to turn over before I want to get short. Okay? So if this starts turning over, we're going to get short. It's a swing entry. Your stop's going up here. That's it. Or 15 turns into a downtrend, right? And then we're going to get short. And we're talking about something really big over here for crude. I'll point out the demand where I think it's going to get to in a second. But the beginning of the trade, right, is starting to appear. Okay, there's our 15. Is this in a downtrend? It's actually not. Okay, a short on Friday, actually, of this level. And when it did this, I got out with my short, and I got long when it took out this high. Okay, but again, it's day trade. I mean, this had potential to become this downtrend, right? This could have been the lower high. It was selling off. This was a nice red candle, and all it needed to do was go under here, and the bigger trade would have triggered. It just didn't happen. Around into a freaking engulfing candle. Look here, right? And that's it. That's the end. It's telling you not ready to die. Now that we've reached all the way back to here, and it starts rolling, so we have to see what happens tonight. But I'm looking for this level over here to become a lower high, and if it does, oh my. Okay, where are we on the higher time frame? Where is freaking supply that we haven't touched in like 2 years, 3 years, something really crazy. Something that's going to be a massive, massive retracement coming here. Okay, so this is the monthly chart. We've hit the 200 moving average. Okay, that's not stopping. We've just had this supply zone over here, so it looks like we've gotten a little bit beyond it. It looks like we're sort of up in the overlapping wicks in this area over here. Right, there's a daily level. And a weekly level that we're looking at over there. And that's it. I mean, we're at the level where this thing needs to pull back. You could take a look here. This was a breakout. It happened 5 months ago, and it's back test time. Somewhere over here, right? That's where it's going to get to, and it's going to happen fast, okay? Because remember, sell-offs are a lot faster than the rallies, okay? So this thing's getting up right there. There's some weekly supply over here. Let's take a look. There it is. Okay, we're about to hit this little doji area. We've taken out this level with a little pause over here, and then we shoot up. We close outside the bands on the weekly chart again. I'm saying 54, $10 back test. That's what it's like to me. 54. There'll be a pause, down here at 60 or something, but I don't think that, we're really going to hold that. There's a bigger pullback coming here. There's a really nice level at 60 on the daily chart. So, what happens over here, probably create the lower high, pull back, something deeper. But for now, I would say, the weekly chart is telling me, somewhere over here for the back test. The daily chart saying, 60 makes a lot of sense. It's a big round number. This was just a really explosive move. That's the test for this week. And that's almost $5, $4 and change from where we are. Very, very possible. And again, the trigger will be that lower high coming on the chart. So that's what I'm looking for this week. And just get in. If you want to swing trade this thing and you can't use futures, take a look at ETF, right? The energy sector, maybe some puts, on energy ETF, so XL, I think it's XLE, could take a look at it. And, think about swing trading this thing because we're looking at, a really nice, potentially 10% pullback for crude. And that's a really big move. So think about that. But that's what I'm looking for. Again, am I taking longs? Not up here. If we take out this high, I might, but for now, I'm actually waiting for this to roll over at this point. And that's what we're looking at. Okay, that's my crude speech into the dollar. I think the dollar just made a really wicked overshoot. And just, we're just way, there's no reason for this nonsense. And we're going to actually back test. I thought we were going to get the rally back here. Obviously, I was wrong. We ended up breaking out over here, and now everybody's so bearish that it's time to kick their ass. We have a really ugly-looking candle here. As far as the engulfing weekly candle going on over there. Beginning of the week was up there, and then we just collapsed out at the end of the week. So we'll have to wait for this to actually start to show itself. But I believe we're going to start to get a pretty decent rally coming back over here. We should be looking for something in this level, to create the higher low. And I think we get up eventually all the way back to like 93. I think we're still going over here. It's going to have to look something like this. And it's going to take some time to get there. But I think it starts this week. And again, the idea is when you're looking for something to turn around, again, you can't get into that type of a trade until you start to see this turn around on a lower time frame. You'll get run over. You're fighting the trend. I'm thinking the trend's turning around. Why? We're at such higher time. stuff we haven't touched in, I don't know, a couple of years, I think, back there. What is that? 2015, 3 years. Look at a demand zone that's 3 years old. I mean, really. You think it's not going to do something? Of course it's going to do something. So the question just is, how do I enter that trade? And for me, again, I'll give you the trigger. You're looking for, in this particular case, a higher low on a 60 or an uptrend on the 15 chart before you start taking longs for dollar, or the opposite for things that are trading against the dollar, like gold, like euro, like whatever currency you're going to be trading. Before they start over, let's talk about it while we're at it. Let's go to gold, and gold did something also, right? He's got this wicked big ass rally going on for 5 weeks in a row now. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, 1 second now. and we're landing inside that level up there. And where is it going? It's going all the way, back to here, 1800 and change. I think is the next test. At least, I think we're actually going to make lower highs out of that, and we're eventually landing at 1400 before we start turning around from there and make those new 125s and plus up there. But for now, I'm looking at something like this. Eventually getting down here. 1400 is the magic number. That's the I'd love to get into for the next big ass rally. But until then, I'm waiting for this thing to pull back. I'm expecting it to happen any day. I thought it was going to start that last week over here, and then we end up with this failed hammer over here, right? We hit the demand, and it makes a new high, and so we have to wait again. The longs aren't allowed yet. We are very overbought. We are super overextended. This was news, based on the ECB's that they released, and we get this big pop. And again, when is this going to start? The short. For me, I'm looking for a short, and I'm waiting for a 60 demand zone, a rally up, and a lower high. That's what we're looking for a chance to get in, right? Or a downtrend on the 15, either one of those. They don't necessarily happen at the same time. Whichever one happens first will give me an opportunity to try and get into the short for a swing trade. Until that happens, sit tight and wait. You can buy the first levels of demand for that matter, because that's still the trend. It's the trend until it's not. So, because we're in such higher time frame supply, I'm not interested in taking longs, but, for a day trade, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay? And that's the trend trade. If you're looking about, the swing trade, which I'm discussing now, the bigger trade, it's a short, and it's not yet. It's going to start when you start to see the weakness. Okay. Yen, similar story. The yen totally faked me out this week. I thought we were ready to collapse last week, and did not happen at all. It actually held the bottom, created a double bottom. It took out the middle and shot all the way to the fresh supply up there that it touched. You could see inside the weekly level that we've pushed all the way up into the supply zone, and now I think that's about as far as it should be going. Looking for this thing to roll over. And, up to the 60, it had an opportunity up there. And I think I did take this short on Friday. We started selling off over here, right? And actually, no idea. I was waiting for this to turn over. It never did. Yeah, I didn't take this. It made a new high up here. Instead of turning over and making a lower high, it actually made another high. And, V bottom reversal. I actually took the long. It was a long on Friday. I took it, I got out over here. But that was it. We're just waiting to see if this was going to turn into a lower high. It never did. And therefore, again, same story. We have to wait for a pullback into a demand zone. There's a new demand around here at the doji. And if it pulls in there, turns a lower high, then we can start talking about shorts. Okay? I know it's repetitious, but I want to drive the point home because I have some people that have been sending me messages, and I want to make it very clear. Okay, just because we have a bias doesn't mean we trade the bias until it's telling you to trade the bias, which it's not doing yet. Okay, there's no downtrend here at all. Okay, even on the 15-minute chart, no downtrend. Right? I was looking at this Friday. I think we tried to get in here. We were long going into that. And the reason we didn't, trade this as a short, and this again, no downtrend on the 15. We've taken that, and we were looking at a V bottom, right? And the V's usually take out the origin of where they started from, and that's what happened here. So we were long on Friday for yen and gold, same trade. And right now we're just waiting. That's what they're doing. So we're just waiting for this thing to start turning over, and I'm looking for an opportunity for us to get short. It's not here yet. Okay. That guess, winner chicken dinner, right? Big ass winner here with the add-ons. If you guys were following the tweets, and good for you. I got a bunch of emails that show me you guys made some big time bucks with that. I'm really glad. I closed my trade as I informed you guys by tweet on Friday. We got really close to my target. I know I'm looking at this, as the ultimate goal for now, but we got all the way back here, and I was in from down here. And I added on over here, like I told you guys too. So I had a really big trade going. And that was it. I just booked the profits. It got to a level of 3.2 and change, and I'm done. So what am I looking for now is the question. Well, what we're looking for is eventually this level up here, right? I think it's still going to get there. And there's two possibilities. It's really either going to, let me just draw it on the daily chart. There's two possibilities. I'm not sure which one it was or which one it's going to be, but this is what we should be looking for. Right? There's two possibles. You either break up right away into this zone, and then we back to breakout area, right, around 3.2, right, and then we take the long from there, or we pull back to this breakout area right here, right, around 3.05, I think it was the level on the lower time frame I was looking at, around here, and then we rally. And I don't know which one it is. We'll find out. If we gap up again like we did the last few weeks on Sunday nights, and we land inside this supply zone, I might consider getting short. For this back test, the long will come. The next long up, I'm going to get into this area up here eventually, and break away from this whole mess here. Right, we should be getting into that, and it needs a little back test first. Not a major one, but one. We're looking at the beginning of the uptrend here. Daily a high or low, higher high, right? So the trend is up on the daily. Small pullback, corrective move, and then bang, another pop. So the next leg is the long. That's the one I want. It's the one I prefer. And I want to just show you this levels that I'm looking at underneath us. So this is the 305 level, right? 305. Right over here, this thing on the 240, you can see that's the breakout over here. The other potential is that we break out already from here, and then we back test into this thing. All right. So which one it is, I don't know, but the one that happens is the one we're going to take the long out of. It's either a long inside here or a long up here after we break away. Okay? That's the trade we want. So the swing is done for me. It was a major big ass win, and now it's time to to breathe a little bit, pull back, and look for the entry. That's what we're looking for, the pullback into the demand, right? So we're in an uptrend. There's the 305 level, right? There, it's over here. All right, so this breakout area from here. There's something a little lower down on the smaller time frame, or it's going to be this level because this is going to become a rally-based rally. Those are the two possibilities for that gas. Both of them are long. That's the trade you really want. Okay, and the target for that next leg up. Let's go back to the higher time frame. I think it's around 3.4-ish. Okay, let's go look. Yeah. Okay. Here's the daily. Let's zoom down. 0.28 is that next level that we're about to hit. It's a little rollover, a little gap area, right? But 3.4 is basically this area up here, right? This level, this wick right here, which this supply zone is sitting over here, and that's what we're talking about, hitting that, pulling back, or pulling back first, and then we make another higher that zone and expect to break. So those are the two possibilities. All right, let's take a look at it over here, the 240. Zoom out a little bit, and what are we looking at? Okay, yeah, so there's like this little whole mess area. This is 3.4. You can see it up here. A bunch of gaps and little gaps and stuff going on inside that area, but that's the level that we're looking for. That's the next leg in. That's where the next big supply is going to be sitting. And those are the trades. Pull back, rally up to that, or gap up somewhere into this little bit higher supply, and then pull back, and then we take the long up into 3.4. Okay? That's the net gas trade for this coming week. Looking for longs after the pullback. Okay? So let's see how that plays out. Aussie. Yeah, I mean, this is the same as gold as far as I'm concerned. A big 5-week rally. We're landing inside the supply zone on the weekly chart. It's time for the pullback. There's daily supply up there, and there's no real good demand underneath us. It's been pretty crappy. So we have pretty good pullback into this breakout over here. Back testing to this area. And I think it's going to start this week again. So my bias is short Aussie. And when do I take the trade? I'll say it again. We'll take the trade when you get the lower high of the 60 chart, right, which we don't have yet, or downtrend on the 15, which you don't have yet. When that comes on the chart, that's when we can trade it, right? Pounds. So dollar is going to start rallying. It should do something to the pounds, but the pounds are still looking really strong. We did get a nice engulfing handle. We are watching the breakout of the cup and handle that I was talking about last week on the chart now. Okay, the breakout has started. I'll zoom it back and you'll see it again. So, okay, Okay, there's the cup. And there's the handle. Right? And we start to back test a little. We cleared out this mess after that. And now here we go. There's the breakout area. That's the breakout starting. And that, according to this, should get quite high. And at 1.4 looks at least to be the target for now. And again, that's because a major round number, and then, we should be pulling back and making another higher low and rallying up. This is the beginning of the retrace of the Brexit candle. That's what we're looking at. If you look at it on the higher time frame, you'll see there's absolutely nothing there. Take a look on the weekly chart. We've gotten through. Look where the high is, 1373. We're in this red candle. There's nothing here. This is 1.5 of this wick. Okay, and that's really it. According to this chart, we should be up here. That's what it looks like, somewhere up here. Full retrace, right? So you're going to run into, 200-moving average along the way. You're going to run into some lower time frame supply zones and stuff like that. It's not going to be just a direct move. But for now, longs into 1.4, that's what it looks like, at least, is a fairly, safe trade, I would think, for now. And longs on BP, okay? We'll see if we get a continuation tomorrow, what this looks like, but this is breaking out. Okay? And that's the beginning of the breakout, bang, bang, bang. You buy the pullback in demand for now until it makes a lower high. That's what you do. You buy the pullback into the demand. So here's the 60 chart, and there's our new demand. It's actually a 1.37. Excuse me. Right here, new demand zone. And that's the level you can buy right there, right around 137. Okay. And pull back into demand, you buy the long, and if it gets through the top, perfect. And if it doesn't, kill the long, take some profits, and that's it. That's how it works. Okay. That's pounds. I want to do the copper and then the bonds, and then I'm going to wrap it up this week. Okay. Let's take a look at copper. The beginning of the next corrective move has started. Okay. You could see that this is an uptrend. All right, we had a really nice pop here, and this is the beginning of the corrective move. It's basing right here. It's going to make a drop-based drop. Look here on the weekly chart. Okay, we get the twins, and then we get a close below the twins. This is an inverted hammer. We should be looking at inflation. Okay, and the target for now is around here on the daily chart. So you're talking about a fairly nice sized move. Potentially even, back to the breakout down here. That's also a possibility if this level doesn't hold. But for now, just, down into this level is like 6 or more on copper. It looks like about 200 ticks approximately. And that is like $3,000 a contract. So some serious money over there. And, looking at on the lower time frame, well, here's the 60. And you can see that this is actually starting its downtrend, okay? And the lower highs on the chart sure is, okay? Lower high actually started back here, right? Our high, lower low, our high, lower low. This is actually the downtrend on the 60 chart, right? So we're looking at joining the trend for the next level down into that daily level, which is around here someplace, right? So that's what we're looking at. So where's the level to short? Well, we got something up there, and we have to wait and see where the open is. But we want to be short copper, okay? It's with the trend at this point. There's I think I have a level 15 someplace. Did I mark it off? Yeah, it's a little higher. It's this one over here. Let's put it on the chart right now. I'm looking at this thing right here for a shot, okay? Let me put that on there. Erase. And let's draw that. Copper. Yeah. Copper supply. Okay. So it's around 3.26 above these pivots. If we get a pop up into that, I'd be interested. Otherwise, we start breaking down into the lows. I might take a breakout under here. Let me see what's underneath there. Yeah, nothing there. So it's in this little right over here. We could take the breakout out of that thing also. We'll have to watch. Copper gets a little volatile on Sunday nights when it opens up, so be careful with it. But all right, something over here, and then we start breaking down into these levels. So short copper this week, looking for that daily backtest level. Let's go look at the number exactly because I don't remember it. And we're looking at around 315. That's looks like to be the 50 moving average on the daily chart. So okay, that's copper. Let's look at the bonds. Talking about the sell-off, and there's a very nice trade here that is actually, potential to play both sides. Let's call it. Do I think bonds are going lower? Yes. Do I think we have, an opportunity to take a long right now? Yes. Okay, so there's actually two trades here for the bonds. If you look down on the, actually let me just open up the higher time frame first here. On the daily chart, right, you'll see that we're starting to break away from this, let's call it 4 months or so of a range. We're breaking out of the wedge, right? And you can see that we made some new lows back here, right? Let me zoom out a little bit, see some more. We made a low that, all the way back to like March, April. We got into this little overlap, which is a lower time frame demand on like a 240 chart over here. And we start to back test a little bit, right? We try to break away from a range. Normal price action makes rally up at a lower high. Right? That's what it should do. Well, that's great because there's an opportunity here. There's a lot of air. We actually can take a long into the supply and then the short out of the supply. Okay? That's what I'm looking to do this week. I'll show it to you on the lower time frames. The levels are pretty clear. So I like this trade. Take a look at the 240, and you'll see that the 240 actually is confirmed its bottom so far. There's the drop-base drop. There's the supply zone. There's the rally into the supply. There's the higher low. There's a double bottom. And there's the air. Right? So we should be getting back to where over here. Breakout of the lows is over here. There's a lower time frame supply zone over here on the 60 chart. It's around 151 or so. So we'll have to see where the entry looks like. But there's a very nice short sitting here. That's where the next lower high should come. And the only question is, can I take the long? This air over here, is it enough to to get some money out of it? I think there might be on a lower time frame room there, depending on what happens at the open tonight. But there is a really short. The short is the one you really want because that's the next leg down. And this is a downtrend, right? Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. You see it? Boom, boom, boom. Lower high and then lower low. This is what we're expecting, right? So rally into the supply is the short, and that's what we're looking for. Potential for the counter trend rally into the supply zone, and then the short, right? So when we're looking at on the 60, the level looks to be up here, right? And there's some room up there. You can see where we've made the higher low. Double bottom, we should rally, and we have a lot of air. So, along into, according to the 60 chart, 151 and change. The problem is that this overlapping wick here on a 15 is a really nice supply zone. All right, so let me show it to you. And that's the only question is, I would say we're in a downtrend. I would want to be out before that level. So the only question is, where can I get in? And this is the level I'm talking about. It's right here, right, at 151. It's 4 ticks wide. 230 seconds to 630 seconds, right? And, so we're looking at, getting in right here. But if it pulls back over here and makes another higher low someplace around 150, then that makes sense, right? Long into here, reverse position, and not reverse, but exit profitably, exit your limit a little before the zone and then take the short in the zone and start to ride this down into, looks like below 149. I think the daily level is coming in almost at like 148 or 147, something crazy. But that's the trade that we're looking at. Okay, a really nice coming short. If you don't want the long, the short is the bigger trade. And the next demand zone, it's coming in at 148 and change on the daily level down here. Okay, 148 to 147 looks like somewhere down here. So if you're talking about 151, down into here. You're talking about, $2,500, $3,000 a point a contract. Again, a really nice short for bonds. Okay, and that's it for this week. I hope to see you guys on Wednesday. Whoever is registered for the extra sessions Wednesday. And other than that, everyone else have a great trading week, and I'll be around. So expect some tweets. Thanks. See you soon. All the best. Bye.